Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today is a really good day because I'm transforming myself into Cher, my favorite artist of all time. I actually created this look for Halloween last year. Holm had even dressed up as Sunny. It was such a moment, I knew I had to recreate it. Cher has always been my all-time favorite icon, and in my eyes, she can do no wrong. So much of my work is inspired by many of her looks that she's created throughout the years as an artist, and I will never get tired of recreating Cher looks. And if you guys are curious how I did my lashes, make sure to watch all the way till the end because that is probably one of the best parts of Cher's makeup. I actually had my assistant Sandra Merlon help me create this lash look. She actually helped me with my lashes last year, so I thought it was only appropriate that she come back and show us how it's done. But before we jump in, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumbs up, and make sure to follow me on Instagram because that's where I post first. All right, without further ado, let's get into the details. If you've been dealing with dry eyes or your eyes have been feeling fatigued from staring at your screen, this eye cleanser is such a game changer. This is my favorite eye pick-me-up and I promise it'll be worth the wait. It's very soothing, hydrating, and prevents any bacteria from getting into the eye area. For skin prep, I'm using my Tatcha Dewy Milk Moisturizer. This is an incredible moisturizer, especially if you are on the oily side, but you still want a healthy dewy glow in the right places. This will actually control your sebum throughout the day. And then priming my skin with the Anastasia Beverly Hills Hydra Prime SPF just to smooth and blur my skin texture. And I had to go in with a little face lymphatic because we all love a snat. This has been making such a huge difference in my skin because I only have a few weeks left of pregnancy. To base the eyes, I'm using P. Louise Base Rumor 02 and 2.5 mixed, basing my entire eye with P. Louise all the way up to the brow bone, and then taking 2 pieces of Scotch tape, just placing this in a way that's going to kind of lift and wing out my eye shape. I rarely do this trick, but it's amazing if you need a quick sculpted eye look. Starting off with this really pale bone shade, I'm placing this along the eyelid. And if you have smaller eyelids, now is your time to create an even larger eyelid space. So you're basically going to cheat your eyelid and bring it higher. Now I'm going in with a neutral brown and a very dark chocolate brown. Now the brush you pick up is also going to be very important. This is a very thin eyeliner brush that I'm going to be using to sculpt out the shape of my eye. I'll make sure to list every brush used in the description. I ended up using an eyebrow brush because I felt like it gave me an even easier sculpted eye look when trying to blend out the eyeshadow. And I think the trick here is to bring your crease even higher. So go higher than your natural crease, and that's what's going to give you that baby doll Cher eye look. I try not to worry too much about making the lines perfect because I like to go in with a transition shade just to kind of buff everything in. So now I'm going in with that transition shade, and you can see this is a lot warmer. It has more of like a mustardy yellow undertone to it, which I thought was perfect for this look. And I'm switching over to a blending brush just to blend everything together. I did end up removing the tape, and now I'm going back with that same eyeshadow that's on the lid just to clean up the eyelid space. And then taking that dark brown shade, I'm just gonna start defining the lower lash line. From the Sephora brand, I'm using a nude eyeliner. This is an all day long wear eyeliner pencil for the waterline. And then to give my eyes that perfect inner corner wing that just opens up the eyes, I'm using this micro gel eyeliner. I promise this will be so worth the wait. And then looking straight into the mirror, I'm starting to draw an outer corner flick. I like to get that long wing first, starting from the last eyelash, and then slowly I use my ink liner to connect and fill in that triangular wing. And I just love the difference that eyeliner makes. I'll just never get tired of this look. I'm also using the ink liner to define my lower lash line even more. For foundation, I'm using my Natasha Denona High Glam Foundation in the shade N9. This foundation is gorgeous on the skin. It really gives you that soft glam look. I found the coverage to be extremely buildable, long wearing, and it also just has like this natural glow to it. To warm up the skin, I'm using the cream bronzer by Vive in the shade medium. And I'm applying this on the back of my hand first just to warm up the product so I don't have too much on the brush. And I'm starting to sculpt the jawline first just to give my face a little bit more structure. Softly sculpting the sides of my nose and then blending it out with a sponge. I also like to add a lot of shading on my forehead. I love when this area looks really warm and bronzy, and I'm making sure to blend the bronzer into the hairline. Now to define the cheeks, I really wanted to build this up because it was Halloween after all, so I wanted to go for more of a full glam look. And then for concealer, I'm using the NARS Natural Radiant Concealer in the shade Macadamia. This is a long time favorite of mine, and I am going directly on the skin with this because I feel like the doe foot applicator distributes the perfect amount of product, and usually I don't feel that way about a doe foot applicator. You guys always see me put it on the back of my hand first, but with this formula, I find that it does work amazing directly on the skin. And I always like to apply my concealer in a way that just lifts the face, and I also blend in that same placement. Now, to make sure everything is blended together, I'm going back in with that same brush that I was using to apply the bronzer with no extra product on it, and I'm just kind of going over that area to make sure that the concealer and the bronzer meet in the middle. To set my skin, I'm going in with my Huda Beauty Easy Bake Loose Powder in the shade Cherry Blossom, and I'm locking it in with a powder puff. This one's by Morphe. I definitely needed this makeup to last, so I knew by going in with this loose powder and this puff combo was gonna give me that all day, all night wear. Now to lock in the skin even more, I'm going in with my Anastasia Beverly Hills Smooth Blur Bronzer in the shade Golden Beach Glow. Now, you don't need too much of this product because we've kind of already laid all the bones down with the cream bronzer, so I'm just lightly going over any areas that have been sculpted and redefining my nose a little bit as well. Taking the Rare Beauty Positive Light Silky Highlighter in the shade Flaunt, I'm using this down the bridge of the nose just to snatch, and also using it as a brow highlight. For a peachy warm cheek, I'm using my Morphe Cheek Thrills Blush Palette in the shade Beach Bonfire. Now, if you want your lip to last, I highly recommend trying this trick. Take your loose powder and set your lips with loose powder first, then apply your lip liner. And it just prevents the lip liner from slipping off. Now to sculpt the lips, I'm going in with a nude lip liner. This is one of my favorite lip liners, and I just can't wait to share more about this. But it's so creamy and hydrating. You can blend it out with your fingers or a brush. There's truly nothing like this formula. And now I'm going into the center of the lips with one of my favorite lipsticks. This is Sable Smoke by Tom Ford. It is such a beautiful sandy nude lip. And then for a glossy glow, I'm going in with this Stila Gloss. To fill my brows in, I'm using a brow pencil by Brow Code in the shade Deep Dark Brunette. I like to start off by filling my brows in the arch first, and my goal is always to bring mine a little bit lower because I feel like my arch is quite high. And then I fill the inner part of the brow in last, and I use really soft hair-like strokes, so that way the brows look a little bit gradient. And then locking in the brows with my tinted brow gel for an all-night hold. Doing a really light coat of mascara first because we're gonna be going in with tons of individual lashes. However, this is my favorite mascara of all time. I mean, notice the shape of the wand. There is nothing else like it because I can get into the inner corner so easily and really define every single lash while getting a lift and curl. Now introducing Sandra Merlon. She did such a good job on my lashes last year. I'm so excited to do this again. I would definitely screenshot this because these are all the lashes that we used, and I'll make sure to link it in the description. To start off this lash look, I used my Kiss No Filter lashes. We cut them in half and put them on the outer corner of my eyes as a base. And then she applied 3 of the Rocaille lashes from the outer corner, going from longest to shortest. You can see these are quite dramatic and give you like a soft drag look, which I'm obsessed with for this Cher makeup. And then in between the Rocaille lashes, she used the Danessa Myricks Individuals, which are a bit spikier, and you can alternate the sizes. They also come in sizes that are 6, 7, and 8. So it kind of depends what fits your eye. But we loved alternating this in between the Rocaille lashes because those are really long and wispy, and then Danessa's are more spiky. For the lower lash line, I use these limited edition lashes by Katie Jane Hughes and Kasha. I believe this was an older collab, but I had to hang on to these because they're honestly perfect for the lower lash line. Lower lashes are definitely a must when it comes to any of Cher's makeup looks, and these were perfect. The difference is unreal, and it truly made the look so special. I'll never get over these lashes. And that completes today's look. I'm dying to know what you guys think of my Cher recreation. Please comment what was your favorite part about this makeup look. There are so many Cher makeup looks that will forever be cemented in my brain, but this one is definitely one for the books. It's probably my favorite. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you next time.